This is the moment when we decided to do a Declan Rice video. We actually wanted to do a video at the start of the season, then we got caught up with other ideas, but we wanted to talk about how that this guy is an utter monster. He's a monster. Declan Monster. He's a monster. And this is the moment where we were like, nah, enough now. Luton, of course, losing, heartbreaking. People talking about Declan Rice's performance in this game. But Declan Rice is an utter monster. He's a joke. And let me explain exactly why he is just that. Because Declan Rice, first and foremost, players that play in this position are not like Declan Rice generally. And I think it's something that's going to come more and more into fruition because those players are so important. We've got a video coming up on sixes, actually. But Declan Rice can play in this position. Declan Rice, if you really needed to, he can go and sort himself out at centre-back. I'm pretty sure he could play at right-back. I'm pretty sure he could play at left-back as well. Do you know what? He could probably play up front, but he probably, maybe I'm going a little bit too far. But the fact that he is so complete, He's so complete. Like, it's astounding. And so what I want to do in this video is go through all the lovely elements that he provides. And I think the most important thing that I want to talk about is the fact that when he is playing both as an 8 or as a 6, he allows the team to be better. And he actually takes away the need for certain people. It's almost like having a second player on the pitch because he can play in all these different roles. And he has such physicality, such awareness, such athleticism, such technical ability as well. That first of all, he's a superpowered 6, in my opinion. But secondly, as we saw earlier in the season, he's playing 4 different positions at one time sometimes. You know, be it as a second pivot in a 2 when he has to drop back in, with Thomas Partey when he's been playing in games, but also, you know, going in and shuffling in behind, being a bit of a single pivot as well, but driving as well, and often, very often, just dealing with the entire left half of a pitch, or, the other side of it, just the whole width of a pitch. Let me explain exactly what I'm talking about. Utter joke. So, of course, this is the moment that we really enjoyed. Let's move. Let's start here, actually, yeah. So, Declan Rice here. Let me circle him. And I love him in that 6 role. And I did a podcast with Alex Moneypenny talking about the whole Arsenal squad. So, if you want to check that out, links in the description to the ripple effect. We talk about Arsenal and which players can get them to where they really want to be. And Declan Rice is, of course, one of those. Now, first of all, here you have Wolves with the ball. And first of all, his awareness, Declan Rice's awareness of how to behave defensively is actually something that he does in a way that can feel a little bit dangerous. So if I move it on one, you can see here, Wolves like to play through centrally. And what they like to do, if I go back one, is they like to have a player here who can then drive. They have a lot of players that can drive with the ball. So they're happy for that space to be created. And Declan Rice, most 6s would just sit there and stay there. Because defensively, if you can protect your back line, and this is why we've not done a Kobbie Mainoo video as of yet. The reason we've not done a Kobbie Mainoo video yet is I feel like there are some weaknesses there that need to be addressed. And one thing I think Kobbie Mainoo does is Kobbie Mainoo sits here. Now that's understandable. That is totally understandable because you can go and protect your 2 centre-backs. You can go and protect your 2 centre-backs really quickly and really easily. But the way the game is played now is that teams will stretch. And when you stretch, let me get off that. When you stretch, it leaves these huge spaces in here. And so to be able to deal with all of that is a bit of a chore. It's very difficult. Now, there's 2 ways. You'll either do it yourself, which is what Declan Rice does, or you need help from others to give yourself a chance. Now, what Declan Rice does is something that Kobbie Mainoo can't do right now. I'm not sure if he ever will be able to do it. And so that makes him not as complete. And this is really harsh, not on an 18-year-old, but it's just because he was at the forefront of my mind. And he's obviously starting his journey as that 6. So Wolves like to play through the middle. What Declan Rice does brilliantly is that he knows that. But when he does make that move, and here he is, to shut down those passing lanes, and means that he's got to play out wide, and this generally you're just in a much better place defensively. He's also leaving a very large space here. That's a mess, isn't it? He's still leaving a large space here. And that is dangerous. And that's generally thought of as a bad thing. But he has such utter belief and understanding and conviction in what he does defensively that he does that, and it's the right decision. And it's brilliant, and it keeps them at bay, and it stops them doing what they want to do. Let's move it along. This is the game against Brentford. This is the other thing that, again, he does so brilliantly, is that he allows the team to... Do you know what he is? He's a I'll do it guy. I'll get it. And you need those guys. You need the I'll get it guy. And he's an I'll get it guy. Let me show you. This is Flecken with the ball. Flecker's about to play a pass over to Aaron Hickey. And when he does that, he takes out a lot of players. A lot of players. Here's Aaron Hickey with the ball. Okay? Let me just circle him for you there. And when he does that, he has taken out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players out of the game. And it's a lot of space for Declan Rice to cover. But I'll get it, he says. It's all good. And again, an understanding and a tenacity, but also if you haven't got the pace to make that run, let me move it on one and show you what he does, and what he does brilliantly is he presses and he gets there. And he is doing something that's super dangerous here. He is leaving space. He is allowing that space to be there. But he knows that if he has the tenacity and the athleticism to get at Aaron Hickey can play a full pass to him, but actually with what Declan Rice is doing there, he's not wanting to do that. He's going to have to go back. He might have to play a pass here. He could try and do something dangerous there, but I think that is really dangerous, again, when you've got someone like Declan Rice there. And again, I think with the size of this guy, what you have is, we've all played football where you've got a guy who's like 2 years older, and he just kind of does what he wants. And to do that at the highest level, you have to be the complete package. And to have these strings to the bow of a player who, as I said, is a player who you generally don't have players who do exactly what he's talking about. Let's even think of someone like Rodri. Rodri, again, he will want to be careful somewhat because he doesn't want to leave those spaces in behind, because he doesn't think that he can either stop it at source or get back in time. But Declan Rice is willing to do that as a 6, and that just allows for a lot more freedom for the other players that you have. Is there going to be an element like social loafing from some of these guys where they're not going to put the work in transition? That's something that they need to be aware of, almost due to the brilliance of him. And there could be moments of, as I say, over-reliance. We spoke about that in the game against Man City, where Jeremy Doku is kind of becoming that for Man City. But it's fantastic defensive work, and what it allows is just a second to get these guys back in position, which means that as a collective you're in a better place. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Let's keep moving. So this is the game against Bruno Guimaraes. Again, understanding who's going to get the ball, when are they going to receive that ball, read it, commit to your defensive work. And again, in terms of one-on-one duels, Declan Rice is one of the best in the game, both from tackling and affecting the opposition. So you can see Bruno Guimaraes here is going to get on the ball. Again, you would be coming out of an area that you probably don't want to step into, but Declan Rice feels super comfortable doing that because he's going to ensure, he has total confidence that Bruno Guimaraes will not be turning. But again, using that brain to the mix between reading the game, and normally it's slow players that read the game, but reading the game and having the athleticism to go and solve it quickly makes you a monster, an utter monster defensively. Let's move it forward. This is the attacking side of Declan Rice. Now, we haven't even touched on the attacking side of Declan Rice, and he has improved so much in this area of the game. And I think that is probably the most fantastic thing about Declan Rice. The character that's there, we've seen the clutch goals, his desire to step up, his lack of fear in terms of stepping up, the aura that Arteta is talking about when he's talking about Declan Rice and what he can provide. But the gentle, layer by layer improvement in his attacking game is huge. Like, we all saw that clip of him driving with the ball, understanding the space. He's always had that. But West Ham fans will tell us that. And there's been a lot of people going, oh, wow, oh, actually, he can play as an 8. Like, he's always been able to drive with the ball. But the subtleties that he's adding to his game and his ability to be press-proof, his ability to sort of have those little subtle moments is really important as well. And this is a great example of it, because he creates a goal here for Eddie Nketiah with which no one saw coming. So here's Declan Rice. And as you can see, he looks like he's making his way over to that right-hand side. Let's clean this up. And most people would think, look, he's going to play past to Ben White, he's going to play past to Kai Havertz, he's going to play a through ball to Bukayo Saka. And for Sheffield United, they're all keeping an eye on that. He knows he's got him, and he's going to try and nick in front if he plays that pass. His body position, his understanding of Saka, if he tries to make that run into there. And generally, they're absolutely fine. And Declan Rice is able to understand that super, super quickly. And that, again, is superb. If we move it on one more, what we see is that he has a little look. So he has that little look as he's on his way to this right-hand side. And again, with Saka, you would expect that. And he feels like there's something else that he can create there. So if we move it on one more, what he does, instead of playing that pass, is he takes all of these players out of the game and is able to get a pinpoint pass to Eddie Nketiah there, and Arsenal score a goal from that. Subtleties. There's a subtlety to his game that people aren't really focusing on. Let's keep moving. This is another great example. Declan Rice we have here. Where is he? There he is. Declan Rice on the edge. And again, this one is one where I just want to show you the sort of him and his body language, being on a swivel, looking to help the team. Because if we move it on one more, what we see is that little look. That is the thing that, for me, I think, again, we've done a video on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Him stepping into a new role, can he have that scanning and awareness to be good to go and to be an elite player in that position? With his back to goal, I'm not totally sure with Trent yet, but he needs the reps. I'm not saying he can't do it. Of course he can do it, because these players have outrageous vision. And Declan Rice is one where you would think, oh, well, was he a centre-back? Was he a centre midfielder? Is he just a box-to-box guy? Is he just a runner? Is he just a defensive stopper? No, because he's learning. He has a sort of growth mindset. You can see it. And so having that little look there, that's something that I'm not sure he always did. He would have just focused on what's happening with the game. Or again, if he wasn't as complete and as proactive as he is, he'd probably be focusing on the players behind him, or just, and he would be 5 yards further back. He wants to get involved. He wants to affect that game. And he's 2 or 3 positions in one. It's absolutely superb. If we move it on. This is, again, the athleticism of this guy. Normally, a 6, think of a 6, past or present, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to chill and stay there. No, not Declan Rice. And again, this is a problem. It's a huge problem for the opposition. And it's something that, again, is a dangerous, risky thing to do. But if you are going to do it, and you're good enough to do it, then, again, you are a problem. You are pretty lethal. He is not concerned. I would never do this. I would never, ever, ever vacate this area. Because if you muck up here, they are on the march. But he is positive. He's proactive. And he knows he can really affect change in the game. Takes out 3 players from that position. The pass is good enough. And again, I think that's another thing that we're seeing differently in modern football now, is that I think you might see more of these kind of players that, yes, they start as a 6, but they don't just sit there. They go and they drive because they can affect the game. They're playing on a carpet. You've got technical players who are superb as well. But Declan Rice is one of the forerunners of this. And you see that drive, and he turns what is just a simple triangle in the previous screenshot of those 3 that gently and quite easily covered, and you affect the game brilliantly. Again, Eze is a 10. He wants to sit and wait for the ball. Doucouré wants to be able to just follow those runners and sweep. So when you bring someone like Declan Rice into the fold, you're in trouble. Like, you're in massive trouble. And then he actually is able to play a lovely little pass as well. So the end product is there. I think he plays a pass to Nketiah just here once he drives with the ball. It's so complete. It's so complete. And, of course, this is the goal. Now, you can see Declan Rice, again, wanting to be able to push forward, and understanding there from Odegaard, which I think is really important, to say he will step in. They need a goal, they want a goal, and they want to use his height and size to get themselves that goal. And he's a live wire in the penalty box. And the reason why he's a live wire, again, is he is a coachable player. And this is why there are certain subtleties that have gone to a new level with him at Arsenal, because he is clearly a sponge. He's played a lot of games. He's capable of dealing with the pressure, which he has done, obviously, as being a captain for West Ham. And now at Arsenal, he's just utterly thriving. But he has those little subtleties to his game that I'm not sure he totally had before. But it's all about understanding that coaching, but then being alive to what you have learnt and implementing it. So the ball goes out wide, 96, 60 minutes. He makes his way into the box, and it's right in the corner here. Hopefully you can see it. See if I can zoom in. So you can see him right on the edge here, right by my arrow, okay? And what's really important is that he initially moves on to the back line. But when he sees that pass to Odegaard, and he knows that cross is going to be making its way into the box, what he wants to do is he wants to give himself the best chance. He already has that in terms of the size, but the brain is there too. He takes this little sidestep backwards to then give himself the run, to give himself that leap. Because if the cross comes in and he's reaching away from goal, that's going to be very difficult to finish. But if you're coming onto it and you can head it down, you can do exactly what he did, which is allow the cross to come under, that little sidestep, as we spoke about, and then the ball comes in, and it allows him to get those 2 yards, literally just 2 yards, to get that jump up, to get above, and to put that ball in the corner. And ultimately, those nuances are winning games for Arsenal. Is he the missing piece? He's several pieces. He's a monster. He's bloody ace.